first there are two elements in motivation and rewards. There is the intrinsic motivation and the extrinsic one, right? The focus in most of the organization is about the extrinsic one. You get bonus, right? You sell more, you get more money. The problem starts when you start to change strategy or you launch a new product and then you would like to turn on a dime and your compensation program doesn't work. This is one thing. The second thing is, people get used to their comp and then it doesn't motivate them.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumi Tech, sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Synergy Global, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, Birthright Excel, Serona Partners, and in media partnership with C-Tech. Welcome to another episode of 20-Minute Leaders. Today I'm joined by Gal Rimon, the founder and CEO of Centrical, an employee-centric success platform. Using advanced gamification, personalized microlearning, and real-time employee performance management holistically, Centrical helps companies help their employees perform their best. Gal is a Mamram graduate with an MBA from Tel Aviv Recanati and previously was the CEO of Gilon, a leading big data company which was acquired by Ness Technologies. Gal Rimon, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you?
I'm great, Michael. Nice to meet you, and it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure having you here as well. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to chat with me for 20 minutes about your own journey and more specifically about employee and this idea of employee-centric success platform and whatever that means. We hear a lot about, the importance of the employee experience and company and workplace and company culture in the news, but this wasn't always in the mainstream media. So I'm excited to hear about your own journey as well as your journey within Centrical. But prior to that, vice president within Deloitte, CEO of Gilon, acquired by Ness Technologies, senior vice president within Ness, and now CEO and founder of Centrical for the past 8 years. So quite an incredible journey. I would love to hear a little bit about your career from your eyes. How you see the different stepping stones that brought you to found this company, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the big pain point that you came about to solve.
Sure. So I think that my foundation as an employee and an executive was that I was a volleyball player. So so I was in the national team of Israel, the youth team of Israel, and I think it built a few foundations for my career. First, grit. You keep trying, you keep failing. Second, practicing and training all the time. You can't improve if you will not invest. Leadership, and everything started there. So today, when I can give an example, when I try to raise money, I fail so many times until I succeed. And other people usually say, okay, I'll do a bootstrap or quit, right? But I kept doing it until I succeed. So this was my cornerstone in the career.
I love it. So as you venture from professional volleyball player into the tech world, where's your mind at? How do you position yourself within this tech world, and sort of what is your North Star in that journey?
So I started in Mamram, one of the Israeli Army elite technology units, and then the Air Force. So I was a programmer, so I have a very deep, like you, right, technical background. And it helped me always to start from the bottom up, to understand the foundations of everything that I'm doing. So initially I was a professional, and then during the years I focused on BI analytics and big data before it was that hype, reached to an amazing hype. And I remember when I started a new startup, everyone asked me, is it on big data? I tell them, no, it's new. An employee, I started as a professional and then started to go to managerial roles, and always the customer was in front of me. Even in the army, I remember my customers in the Air Force, and I wanted them to succeed. And then in every step of my career, I looked at the customer, whether it was an internal customer in the beginning or an external customer. And then it led me from this professional path to a business and more commercial path, and then an executive leadership.
Right. So tell me a little bit about where you were at when you founded Centrical. How did you see the world, and how did you sort of rigorously think through what type of company you want to build?
So I had an amazing journey with a company, a big data company that I joined not as a CEO, but I later became the CEO and helped them grow by 10x during the years, and then sell the company. And the focus was BI analytics and big data. Now, my challenge was that I always look at what I call utilization of intelligence. So you bring to managers insights and triggers and trends. And the problem is that the utilization of their decisions, how many decisions they took and implemented versus the number of insights that you provided. And in my experience, it was very low, and it created a stress even when I was in my previous roles. And then I wanted to start solving it. And this was the small grain that around it I started to crystallize in things. So how can we bring intelligence and create something that would be actionable and will actually move the needle?
What are those things that move the needle that you've learned, over your 8 years with Centrical?
So the first one was, let's put the employee at the center, not the manager,
Okay.
but the employee at the center, because the employee is responsible on the moment of truth with the customer. I'm talking about frontline employees, but even IT, they're not frontline. They have customers, internal customers. So everyone, after all, have a customer. And then it's very important that every individual, in a personalized fashion, would be aligned to the corporate goals, would know how to do it well, would be engaged to learn and to perform better, will be heard, right? Will listen to them how to do things better, will be able to be coached by other people, and so on. So after all, if you create this holistic and actionable experience that everyone is focused on accelerating their success, they will be successful as employees, and the organization will be, of course, successful as well.
Right. Now, why is this not intuitive in your eyes? So now that you've been sort of researching this and dissecting this for quite a while, why is this not an intuitive idea that if you empower your employees to be better, they'll be better at their work, and at the end, they'll be more customer focused, and at the end, your whole organization is going to succeed?
I believe that there are two reasons. First one, when we started to talk about employee engagement, like, 8, 10 years ago, it was, engagement is like HR, it's something soft.
Yeah.
While, I think that, again, you'll see an engaged agent when you have a problem with your mobile phone, right? You
Yeah.
understand it. They're engaged. They try to help you. You will be a loyal customer, right? Or, you will buy something, right? So engagement is the foundation of success and results. The second thing, it's very, very complicated, because people think that engagement is about psychology, that the employees are, very unique, and they are unique. And therefore, the solution to help engage, motivate, align, train, and so on, are so complicated. They put so many different perspectives and proficiencies from psychology, from data integration, from user experience and business and how to measure things, how to train things, and so on. And then it's very hard that a single company will handle all of this complexity. And therefore, until today, I couldn't find a single company that is doing what we're doing.
Right. So tell me a little bit about more tangibly the actual product that you're developing with Centrical, and then how does that integrate within companies to help them be better?
So Centrical is actually aligning the employees to success, which means that first we collect, when I say we, of course, it's like the customers using the platform, collect information and data from operational systems that reflect the performance of employees. For example, point of sales, right? CRM systems, dialers, every operational system that start to reflect the performance of the employees, and in many, many times, multiple different systems that are not integrated.
And how do you deal with the non-standardized, because the huge problem here is that, we have, it's not like you have a single score that is going to be universal for all employees to say, this is how well you've closed the sale, right?
Right. So we put a few different KPIs, key performance indicators, or OKRs, that reflect the performance of employees and normalize every KPI based on the performance of the individual. Can give an example. I just bought goggles. I started to swim, and they have augmented reality. You see your laps and pace and more information. So the question is like, who am I competing against? I start to swim, and the other day there was like a 16-year-old girl, and I started swimming in, like fast pace, and she was a professional, like dolphin, right? So after 5 laps, I was tired, and she kept going. So if I would try to compare myself to her, that's it. One time, twice, right? I would quit. I'm trying to compare myself against myself, against maybe people at my age, against my best swim in the last month. And therefore, I improve my performance in more than 20% in 2 months, right? Because I had the best benchmarks, and therefore personalization that we normalize the performance of every individual based on themselves, people like them, maybe their team. This is the first thing to build. Unlike, we talk about gamification, right? The first gamification programs and platforms failed because everyone tried to put the top 10. We have 1,000 employees, 10,000 employees. The top 10, are, fraction. We have 990 losers, right? So let's make everyone a hero on their own game. So this is like the first step.
I love it. Now, in regard to this first step, how do you get the employees to buy into this? How do you get them to not just be okay with this idea, but to actually want to go and take part in it and to dive deep into the numbers and to explore it themselves?
So in my previous company, right, I was the big brother, right? I helped the managers to catch the employees, to catch the problems, to catch the places that we can sell well or, provide not the best service. Here, it's all about you. It's for you, for your success. It's genuine. So this is the first thing. The second one is, okay, let's say that you fail, right? Or reach to your ceiling of performance.
Yeah.
And now what, right? And then we try to train you and create personalized training program for every individual. And again, like the customers are putting the training materials and so on, but our AI analyze the performance gaps and knowledge gaps, and then bring the next best training activity, micro training, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. In the swimming, for example, it would be how to put my arm into the water, or like this the breath, or like different tiny elements that you break in order to improve your performance. And when you tie learning together with the performance gaps, you receive something unique and something that you start to see that help you to improve your performance. And I didn't even start to talk about gamification.
What is your key takeaway, or a few takeaways, when you're looking at the way employees improve on their own game, right? So, one of the big aha moments it sounds like he had was this idea of, let's stop comparing ourselves to the people next to us.
Right.
Let's compare to ourselves, and then find ways to help us with micro trainings to improve on our own habits. What are some other takeaways that you've had about this idea of employee success, or putting the employees in the center of their organization's success?
There are two elements in motivation and rewards. There is the intrinsic motivation and the extrinsic one, right? The focus in most of the organization is about the extrinsic one. You get bonus, right? You sell more, you get more money. The problem starts when you start to change strategy, or you launch a new product, and then you would like to turn on a dime, and your compensation program doesn't work. This is one thing. The second thing is, people get used to their comp, and then it doesn't motivate them. Intrinsic motivation, and this is Maslow, right? You can't get enough. You can't get enough. You want more and more, and it starts with first yourself, right? And then there are intrinsic elements that, accomplishment, completion, progression. There are many elements that show that you're progress. Think about, like any video game, right? You headshots, reach to number one, and so on. The second thing is me in my people that I care, my team, my company, my center. And then there are first, there might be competitions, but it could be competition about like who improved the best.
Right.
And this is different. And then public recognition, I just in the morning, I saw an amazing report about a new module that we launched around coaching. So what was the most popular coaching activity between coaches that receive, or managers that receive triggers on employees to the employees?
Wow.
Kudos. Positive reinforcement using our system over a corrective action. And this was, I saw that, I say, wow, and then we compared the previous months in the same organization. It was like 10 organizations and tens of thousands of people. And we compared the number of positive reinforcement that the managers gave before and after we launched this solution with the triggers. It was like, I think 5 or 10 times more, because it was objective, so, hey, Michael improved their performance by 17%. What to do? Great, kudos. And then you see, like Gal, average handle time was dropped. What to do? Let's put him in a program, or maybe shadow call with Michael, right? And then you create something wonderful when you bring both the employees and the manager for the same purpose, and not like managers are chasing after the employees, but they are helping their employees because the machine is finding the relevant places to focus.
I love it. So obviously, you're working on something that is extremely meaningful, that also has an incredible impact on not just your own company, but on the companies that you interact with.
And another aspect, don't forget who is the new employee. It's the Gen Z, the one that everyone we're talking about, millennials born to digital. Gen Z are even more sophisticated than millennials, right? They have the share economy. How much a share, a like, right? A public, selfie, right? Worth, right? Second thing, games are embedded, like everything around the game. I remember when we started, like in around 2013, 2014, the game jargon was different than today. Today,
100%.
right? Because today, the gamers, the millennials were gamers. Now they are managers. Before the X, they weren't gamers. I was a gamer, right? But most of the managers were, didn't talk the language. And today it's the same language.
Right, right. Now, as you're leading this company and having to also think about the vision in the future, where do you gather your own inspiration from? Where does your inspiration stem from?
The customers, no doubt. So we see amazing things that the customer are doing with Centrical. I can give an example. One of our, one of the biggest telecommunication companies in the US, during COVID, right, in March, they needed to close the doors. So, to the stores, right? Without our knowledge, right, they created a new organization in 48 hours. They brought 10,000 employees to start selling from the curbside. Put 2 chairs and start selling on the curbside, 1,000 stores all over the States, right? Think how much time it would take them during COVID, right? They can't fly, can't send trainers. They can send as many emails of like the operating system, the playbooks, what to measure, how to measure. They did it with Centrical in 48 hours. When I heard the story like a month later, I almost cried, from like my baby is Usain Bolt, and 2020 was their best year ever. And
unbelievable.
This is great.
I just love it. Gal, thank you so much. I have one last question for you. Few words that you would use to describe yourself.
It's hard. I think that, how do you say it? I think I'm a goat in a way. I like to, I'm sure it's unique, right? But it's also my sign. So I like to climb, and whenever I climb and reach to success, I find that there is another mountain, and I like to keep climbing. So it's very important to be at the top. I think that the road, the climbing itself to go to the next level, this is the one thing that keeps me running and, not finishing. You don't need to finish. You need to accomplish and keep accomplishing all the time. And this is the fun at work.
I love it.
I wanted to say dolphin. It's more sexy, right? Or something like that.
No. Yeah. I'm going to go with goat. I like the goat.
Yeah. Mountain goat, right? Not a goat. Yeah.
Gal, thank you very, very much for the time.
Thank you. My pleasure.
You're having and for leaving me, more energized than I came into this conversation with. So really, thank you. And best of luck with Centrical and everything else that you'll do after. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot. And so thank you very, very much for the inspiration. And stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Michael. It was a pleasure.
Of course.